I canceled our gender reveal party because I know my husband will be unhappy and possibly leave. My husband Jake has been obsessed with having a son since the day we got married. He bought a tiny football jersey on our honeymoon and hung it in our spare bedroom. He talks constantly about teaching his boy to play catch, taking him fishing, and passing down his dad's tools. When we found out I was pregnant 3 months ago, Jake immediately started planning this huge gender reveal party. He invited his entire family, all our friends, and even ordered custom shirts that said Team Boy for everyone to wear. He kept saying things like, "When little Jake arrives," and "My son is going to be a quarterback just like his dad." I tried to tell him we should be happy with either gender, but he'd just laugh and say, "Trust me, it's definitely a boy, I can feel it." His confidence actually started making me nervous because what if it wasn't? Last Tuesday, I went to my doctor's appointment alone because Jake had to work. Dr. Williams did the ultrasound and asked if I wanted to know the gender. I said yes, thinking I'd surprise Jake at the party this weekend. The doctor smiled and said, "Congratulations, you're having a healthy baby girl." My heart sank. Not because I didn't want a daughter, I was actually excited, but because I knew Jake was going to be devastated. I drove home in complete silence, trying to figure out how to tell him. When I walked through the door, Jake was on the couch looking at baby boy clothes on his laptop. He jumped up and hugged me, asking if I found out the gender. I lied and said the baby wasn't positioned right, so we couldn't tell. But inside, I was panicking about Saturday's party. Jake had already spent $300 on decorations, ordered a cake that would shoot out blue confetti, and told everyone to expect a big celebration for his future son. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about how Jake talks about other people who have daughters. When his brother had a girl last year, Jake said, "Better luck next time," and barely visited. He always makes jokes about how girls are expensive and dramatic and how he'd have no idea what to do with one. The worst part was remembering what happened when his sister announced she was having twin girls. Jake actually said, "Thank God that's not my problem," right in front of everyone. His sister started crying and left early. Friday morning, I made my decision. I called Jake at work and told him I wasn't feeling well and thought we should cancel the party. He freaked out and said everything was already paid for, all the guests were coming, and we couldn't just cancel. I told him I was really sick and stressed about something being wrong with the baby. That got his attention. He said he'd come home immediately and we could figure it out together. When Jake got home, I was sitting on our bed with the ultrasound pictures. I handed them to him and said, "We need to talk about something important." He looked at the photos for a minute, then back at me. "Is the baby okay?" he asked, and I could hear the worry in his voice. "The baby is perfectly healthy," I said. "It's a girl." Jake went completely silent. He stared at the picture for what felt like forever, then set it down on the nightstand. He didn't say anything for like 5 whole minutes. Finally, he looked at me and said, "A girl?" His voice was so flat and disappointed that I started crying. "I know you wanted a boy," I said. "I know you're not happy about this." Jake saw me crying, and something changed in his face. He sat down next to me and put his arm around my shoulders. "Hey, why are you crying? This is good news." I told him I was scared he'd be disappointed and maybe not want to be around for a daughter. I admitted I'd canceled the party because I didn't want to see his reaction in front of everyone. Jake was quiet for another minute, then he said something that completely surprised me. "You know what? I'm glad you canceled it. I've been acting like an idiot about this whole boy thing. Our daughter deserves better than a dad who's disappointed about her gender before she's even born." He picked up the ultrasound picture again and smiled. "Look at her little nose. She's perfect." That weekend, instead of a gender reveal party, we had a small family dinner. Jake announced to everyone that we were having a girl and that he couldn't be more excited. He even bought a tiny pink dress to replace the football jersey in the nursery. Now he talks about teaching our daughter to fish and throw a perfect spiral, and he's already planning to build her a treehouse in our backyard.